Patriots, listen up. What you're about to hear is the kind of jaw-dropping truth the mainstream media will never cover. While we're out here working hard, raising families, defending the Constitution, and trying to live in the greatest nation on earth, the federal government is quietly paving the road to a surveillance state, the likes of which we've never seen before. This isn't paranoia. It's fact. I watched a congressional hearing that you need to hear about. It involved personal testimony, hard evidence, and alarming revelations that should shake every freedom-loving American to their core. They talked about cybersecurity, privacy, and how your most personal, sensitive data could soon be centralized in one giant government-controlled database, allegedly with help from, wait for it, Elon Musk. Yes, the same man who's revolutionized tech and space, now somehow tied to the creation of a master database holding your IRS records, your Social Security info, census data, and more. And it doesn't stop there.
Ranking Member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Wojcicki, is Wojcicki, right?
It's Wojcicki, correct.
Yeah, we have my neighborhood. We have a Polish triangle where all the Polish families live. Look familiar.
Okay.
First of all, I appreciate you sharing your personal history here, and you know, I fully appreciate the value of early detection through 23andMe and other technologies as well, in terms of the value that provides for early treatment protocols for breast cancer. That's really, really, really important. I hope that's something that people get from this hearing today. But also your experience and your situation actually amplifies the need for greater privacy protections, right? On this committee back in 2015, I was a member then. We had a huge hack of the OPM servers, the Office of Personnel Management. So the massive data breach back then compromised the personal information of about 22 million people. But most importantly, that included federal employees and anyone in the federal government that was applying for a national security clearance. So think about that. Who would need in our government, who would need national security clearance, right? Those people are doing very sensitive work. So all that information went over to the Chinese. It was a Chinese threat actor. At that time, the oversight Republicans really, I have to give them great credit. Jason Chaffetz was the chair of the committee at that point. I was just a subcommittee chair at that ranking member at that point. But we conducted an investigation, and they came up with 13 recommendations that the OPM system and its chief information officer should be empowered, accountable, competent, and should, quote, improve federal recruitment, training, and retention of federal cybersecurity specialists. What the Trump administration has done, though, is just done a blanket firing of some of our most talented cybersecurity experts. They've disregarded the cybersecurity and data privacy laws. DOJ is reportedly creating a master database of sensitive information across federal agencies by carrying around unsecured backpacks full of laptops, paving the way for unparalleled surveillance capabilities. So this is an extreme danger to the very systems that we want to protect. So, Professor Hu, how does firing all these IT and cybersecurity experts, does that make Americans' data safer?
Thank you for that question. I think that this raises deep concerns as far as how best do we safeguard very sensitive governmental data. And as you mentioned, the leadership of this committee after the OPM hack, I think, was very important. Not only in recommending best practices for cybersecurity moving forward for the federal government, but also uncovering the ways in which the laws of this body, Congress, were not followed, and that some of those threats that created the types of issues that we saw after the OPM hack could have been avoided. And so part of what we've seen over the last 10 years is that the federal government has undertaken very serious protocols and training programs and the hiring of some of the most qualified cybersecurity officials in these agencies. And now the concern is once those are dismantled, the expertise and also the failure to follow the protocols that followed after the OPM hack, that leaves our nation's most sensitive databases and data on our citizens up to potential abuse and national security risks.
Let me ask you this. So in the past, we have several government agencies that collect troves of information. You think about Social Security, a lot of information about, people getting benefits, their banking information, things like that. The census, that's a repeat every 10-year process. We actually send people to folks' doors to get personal information. The IRS, when you take a look at your tax return and you figure out all the information that you're giving the federal government. We've kept those silos separate until now. Now Elon Musk is joining those, so all that information will be in one central database. We got that from a whistleblower. What kind of damage did that do to our national security and privacy?
Well, as was pointed out in the Oversight Committee hearing recently, especially by the testimony that we saw by Bruce Schneier, that the firewalls that are created by keeping those data decentralization creates additional security safeguards. And so allowing for the integration and consolidation of that data increases vulnerabilities in cybersecurity. It's much easier to create the types of risks of exposure that now are at the heart of the topic of the discussion today.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for your courtesy, and I yield back.
First off, they opened by praising early cancer detection through 23 and great technology, sure, but also a backdoor for data harvesting. Your DNA? It's gold for big data and the government. A brave witness. Ms. Vayeski shared her personal health journey, but more importantly, it spotlighted how dangerously unprotected our medical and genetic data is when in the wrong hands. The hearing then reminded us of the 2015 OPM hack, where 22 million Americans, yes, million, had their most sensitive information stolen by a Chinese threat actor. Let that sink in. This wasn't some kid in a basement. This was the Chinese Communist Party vacuuming up our federal employee files, including people with national security clearance. And what did the U.S. government do after that breach? Sure, there were recommendations, 13 of them actually, about hiring better cybersecurity talent and improving federal systems. But then the Trump administration gets blamed for firing cybersecurity experts. Let me tell you something. It's not about who got fired. It's about who was actually doing the job. Our agencies have been riddled with incompetence, and draining the swamp means removing the dead weight, not coddling it. Now, what's truly terrifying is this whistleblower claim that the DOJ is creating a centralized master database. Sensitive information from multiple agencies being moved across departments on unsecured laptops in backpacks. This sounds like a script for a bad thriller, but it's our reality. And here's where it gets dystopian, folks. Musk's alleged involvement in uniting these separate data silos into one mega database. Historically, Social Security, the IRS, Census, these agencies were separated for a reason. That separation was a firewall against abuse. Now they want to tear those walls down. Why? For convenience? Efficiency? No, patriots, it's control. Control over every aspect of your life. Experts testified that consolidating data like this increases cybersecurity risks. Hackers, foreign spies, rogue insiders, now they only need to breach one system to access everything about you. And let's be honest, this isn't about safety. It's about surveillance. It's about power. And we must push back before it's too late. This isn't left versus right. This is freedom vs. tyranny. When unelected bureaucrats and big tech collude to centralize our most private information, we're no longer talking about protection. We're talking about invasion. If you care about liberty, about your family's privacy, and about standing against big government overreach, then now is the time to speak up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss the truth they're trying to bury. Comment below Do you trust the federal government with all your private data? Let me know. Stay strong, stay free, and God bless the United States of America.